This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Joey Chow, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. And we begin with a look at today's top stories for 2025, November 18. Loyalty dispute deepens as Hualien reverses removal of village chief with PRC nationality. Taipei is cautious as Canada and China restart high-level engagement. And U.S. analysts call for nuclear expansion and naval drills to protect Taiwan energy from China. But first, today's top story. Interior Minister Liu Shifang said elected public officials may not hold dual nationality and that local governments must act strictly in accordance with the law and the central authority's interpretation with no room for alternative readings. Hualien County's Fuli Township Xuetian village chief Deng Wan-hua was removed from office on August 1 after the Interior Ministry, MOI, identified her as one of 5 sitting village or borough chiefs nationwide who hold People's Republic of China, PRC, nationality. Deng, who obtained Taiwanese citizenship 17 years ago, has denied holding PRC nationality and says she was legally elected. She filed an administrative appeal shortly after her removal. In late October, the Hualien County Government's Appeals Review Committee overturned the township's dismissal order, ruling that the original action had not been properly handled. The reversal prompted a formal response from the MOI, which argued that individuals who retain PRC nationality while holding public office would owe simultaneous allegiance to both Taiwan and China, creating what it called a direct conflict of loyalty. Speaking to reporters at the legislature on Thursday, Minister Liu said the MOI will examine the legal basis for the county's decision, reiterating that the Nationality Act and the additional articles of the Constitution require elected officials to renounce any foreign nationality and that the rule must be applied consistently nationwide.
The authority responsible for interpreting the Nationality Act is the Interior Ministry. Under Article 20 of the Act, an elected public official must renounce any foreign nationality within 1 year. It is on the basis of this legal requirement that we have instructed local governments to handle dismissals accordingly.
Taiwan's representative in Ottawa says it's too early to draw conclusions on whether closer relations between Canada and China will affect the fast strengthening ties between Canada and Taiwan. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has moved to stabilize ties with Beijing as his government faces mounting pressure from the U.S. tariffs and volatile policy shifts from Washington. Carney met with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the APEC summit in South Korea late last month, marking the first formal meeting between the two leaders since 2017. He also accepted an invitation to visit China. The diplomatic push has continued through several recent meetings between Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand and the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, with both sides pledging on November 11 to advance cooperation across trade, security, global governance, and cultural exchanges. When asked about potential implications, Taiwan's representative to Canada, Harry Zeng Houren, urged caution. He said Taipei is closely watching Canada's signals, but stressed that public remarks do not necessarily reflect settled policy. Zeng added that despite improved optics between world leaders, core strategic rivalries such as those between the United States and China remain unchanged. He also pointed to last week's G7 foreign ministers meeting in Canada, where members reiterated support for peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait and backed Taiwan's meaningful participation in international organizations. Zeng said Taiwan will continue deepening engagement through Canada's Indo-Pacific strategy and by, quote, steadily demonstrating our values. Washington-based analysts are urging Taiwan to invest in small modular reactor (SMR) technology and expand nuclear options, while calling on the U.S. Navy to rehearse convoy and escort operations to strengthen the island's energy resilience. The recommendations come from a new report released by the Foundation for Defense Democracies, FDD, which conducted a summer tabletop exercise in Taipei with Taipower and other agencies to examine how China could escalate from diplomatic pressure to disrupting Taiwan's energy imports. Titled Chinese Coercion of Taiwan's Energy Lifelines, a contest Taiwan and the West can't afford to lose, the report urged Taiwan to diversify its LNG sources, purchase its own LNG carriers, and consider securing additional U.S. natural gas. The report also says the U.S. Navy should prioritize planning for the potential reflagging of Taiwan-bound commercial vessels under the American flag, while conducting convoy and escort exercises to demonstrate operational readiness. Such steps, it added, would send a clear signal to Beijing that the United States intends to respond to any gray zone attempts to impose a shadow blockade on Taiwan. The report argues that Taiwan should revisit nuclear power, expand storage capacity, and accelerate investments in resilient energy systems. It also recommends deeper cooperation with Japan, whose strategic LNG reserves could provide short-term relief during a crisis. U.S.-based cloud services providers GMI Cloud says it will build a $500 million AI data center in Taiwan with support from NVIDIA, making one of the largest foreign-backed AI infrastructure investment on the island. GMI Cloud, a GPU as a service provider and one of NVIDIA's cloud partners, currently operates data center in the United States, Singapore, Thailand, and Japan. The new Taiwan facility will be located in Taoyuan and is scheduled to come online by March 2026. The site will run on NVIDIA's latest Blackwell GB300 class chips, part of the company's new high-performance architecture designed for large-scale generative AI workloads. The data center will house roughly 7,000 GPUs across 96 high-density racks with throughput approaching 2 million tokens per second. It will draw 16 megawatts of power, placing it in the mid-range of Taiwan's fast-growing AI-related electricity demand. Alex Ye Wei-ting, said Taiwan needs more data centers as, quote, strategic assets to support domestic AI development, adding that local power supply challenges can be resolved. Ye said the Taiwan facility could generate about $1 billion in total contract value once fully operational, with early customers including NVIDIA, Trend Micro, Wistron, and other enterprise end clients. The project is part of a broader AI build-out globally as tech companies pour billions into infrastructure to support rising computational workloads. Taiwan has announced several similar projects this year, including a 100-megawatt AI data center by Foxconn and NVIDIA. President Lai Ching-te on Tuesday welcomed Tuvalu Prime Minister Fuli Teo with full military honors in Taipei, highlighting the strength of the two countries' diplomatic ties. Lai said Taiwan and Tuvalu have long worked closely across healthcare, agriculture and fisheries, energy and ICT, producing fruitful results through years of collaboration. He added that Teo's visit, his first state visit and third trip to Taiwan since taking office, demonstrates Tuvalu's strong support for the bilateral partnership. Lai said he hopes the trip will further deepen the cooperation and both sides face shared challenges, including geopolitical pressure and the impact of extreme climate change. Teo, in his remarks, said he was deeply moved by the warm welcome, noting that although he has visited Taiwan twice before, this is the first state visit and once again reflects the close friendship between the two nations. Thank you for joining me for the news. I'm Joey Chow. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.